Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar. Great to have you all here. I think we are still gathering. We are at the 12 participants, so I expect more people to come. I bore the first ones with the intro to the session. I'm Maria Popovic. I am project advisor at ESMEA, which is European Commission Executive Agency for European Innovation Council and small and medium-sized companies. And I'll take a couple of minutes of your time to open the session today. Let me just briefly introduce Enterprise Europe Network to set the context. Enterprise Europe Network is world's largest support network for innovative SMEs who want to internationalize their business. We work with about 600 organizations in about 60 countries, and every year we support more than 260,000 companies throughout the network of about 3,000 advisors. What really matters is actually the type of support. We work very closely with companies on the ground, helping them find partners, enter new markets, access funding, and scale beyond their home countries. And this is exactly what today's session is about. Because expanding to the US and especially to Silicon Valley, it's a huge opportunity, but also a very specific environment. It's fast, it's competitive, and expectations are high. So it's not just about having a strong product. It's really about how you present it, how you tell your story, and how you connect with investors and partner there. This is also why we've been strengthening our cooperation with EIT. In particular, we've been working closely with 28 Digital, which focuses on support for European tech companies in scaling internationally, including towards United States. Through this cooperation, we are trying to make things more connected and more practical for companies, combining Enterprise Europe Network advisory support with 28 digital scaling programs so that companies can have a clearer way when they want to grow internationally. Today's webinar is a part of a broader series. We were where we are looking into the different global markets and trying to bring a very concrete insights. And today is really about that, very practical guidance. You'll hear from our speaker who knows very well Silicon Valley ecosystem and who will share what actually works when pitching there, what makes a difference and what to avoid. So whether you are a startup, a small or medium-sized company or supporting company in their growth journey, I think you find this very useful. And big thank to our speaker Orestes for being here today. Just a technical info, you can use a chat during his presentation, or you can use a hand and really interrupt. So whenever you have a question, something popping up of your mind on your mind, please feel free to jump in. With that, I hand over to Orestes, and thanks again for joining and enjoy the webinar.
Many thanks for the really nice introduction. And I would say, Maria, you couldn't capture better, what it is all about. And I'm really thankful to that. It's a great pleasure for me to be here and to collaborate with the European Enterprise Network on supporting the European companies scaling up globally and preparing themselves in order to do that in the most efficient ways. Before I start the presentation, you will allow me a very brief introduction about the organizations that I represent here today. So as Maria rightly mentioned, we are representing the European Institute of Innovation and Technology and the specific community responsible for the digital, the 28 Digital. We have actively supported companies the last 12 years, 14 years with great results, many lessons learned, and with a great focus on internationalization and globalization. So many of the things that we learned through these years and the experience of the startups will be shared very shortly to you. We're all
Oh, la, la.
I think we lost our speaker. He will be back in a second.
Can you hear me? Thomas, I'm afraid.
We can hear you, yes.
Yes, we started with this joke, and I need to say this to everyone. I think the day will be interesting, and I'm not doing this on purpose. We and I mean, it was electricity blackout for a moment. I mean, like those things cannot happen, but it's how we address them, what is important. So here I am again. I found a solution, and I'm going back to the presentation. I wanted just to say we're always happy and open to discuss with you. We have a great variety of activities that we do, focusing on supporting European startups in Europe and grow globally. So without further ado, I'm just attempt to share my screen, and I think very soon you should see it. And please, someone confirm that everything is right.
We see the presentation.
Excellent. Okay. So doing business in US and how to pitch in Silicon Valley. And I need to start with a personal story. I couldn't find any better way to start this presentation. Because here you see the San Francisco Golden Gate, the very famous one. I mean, if someone wants to travel there, this is what they will see. And this is what I was expecting to see when I was traveling there. But in reality, if you go there, you might be lucky if you stay for a week to see the Golden Gate like that. What you will see is this. So the San Francisco is foggy. And I try to make a point here. We really need to look beyond and to take a close look on what is happening beyond the marketing advertisements, beyond what we are used to know or what we think we know about these ecosystems. And for me personally, what helped me a little bit to demystify, to certain extent, what is the Silicon Valley is going to Berkeley. That was really allow me to take a step back and look at things in the different perspectives. So today we cannot go to Berkeley in person, but I will try a little bit figuratively speaking to take you with me, and so you can see and observe the San Francisco and the Silicon Valley and what makes it important. Why Silicon Valley though, right? The discussion and the presentation is how to do business in US. And the reason is here. You can see that almost, let's say, 1/3 of the capital raised in US it's happening in Silicon Valley. And I will ask you to compare with with the EU, and look at an important number that will be useful for us later when we explain some things in more deep. Look at the density. Look at the density. Okay, so this is why we're focusing more on the valley for the reasons I just explained. The strongest ecosystem by far. I could show you this number. I could show you that the Meta, Apple, OpenAI, they're all together, close to each other. They're working together. The top three accelerators of the world are located in Silicon Valley. So it's the place to be, and definitely a global ecosystem. So credits, because I didn't put this in the slide, and I should have done it. Credit to the Bay Area Council for this great slide. That it looks complicated. I'm not going to explain it in detail to you, but I wanted to see something very simple. Who is at the center of this ecosystem? Entrepreneurs and startups. Is this always the case in the innovation ecosystems? No. But this is not the time to discuss this. What is important to make it clear when someone lands there is that is expected to be a leader, is expected to be a protagonist. And this is something that influences the way you pitch, the way you position yourself, the way you collaborate with the others. Now, a reality check. Let's say that we're all gonna go very soon, and we're about to start the pitching and engagement with the local people. What things we should consider to change in the way we think in our mindset, in a culture to some extent. So this is the next slides. And I don't know, I will raise some questions. I will leave you maybe some time to rethink and I will immediately respond. I wish we could be all in person to make it more interactive. So think how the company's position in the valley, what is how the culture there. The companies try to show that they are succeeding. It's a continuous, a dynamic phenomenon, not succeeded. So no one is interested to know that the startup has already 3 awards, right? This has happened once, we move forward. How they're succeeding, how they move forward, how they're continuously growing, how they're continuously winning is what defines them. Not the fact that they once did something important. This doesn't validate them in that market. Now, logic and emotion. Where do you think that the mindset of the Valley and the US lies? In reality, it's the most confusing slide because it's somewhere in the middle. But I don't know, you're all coming from different countries. You can start maybe reflecting and thinking where your ecosystem belongs. I think in Europe, we have some ecosystems that are more based on logic, another one more driven by emotion. Is this relevant for a startup or a company that goes to US? 100%. And you will see it very soon. Important, again, about the mindset. What they value more in Silicon Valley and US? The answer is not the money. And allow me to tell you a personal story, a personal failure. After all, I remember when I first landed there, representing a European body, but nevertheless, I was trying to do my job, to do my business right. So the question from Roberto, Professor Araiz, when we were talking, so what do you want to do? Money is not a problem here, he said. Of course, explain the mission, but I was disarmed by this statement. So you really need to be very sharp about what is your mission, what you would like to do. Now, mindful of the market. So here I must give you a tip if you want to wonder what is right. This is the average Series A. So yes, the average Series A in US is 10 million, whereas in EU it's 2. Now, maybe if we dig deeper, maybe it's 3 million, maybe it's 4, maybe in US it's 12. But I think you're getting the point here. The numbers matter. You cannot go with the same ask that you have in EU and to go to US. Now, of course, here we're not about to discuss about the investors, but importantly about the market. So how you do sales. And this is an important slide. The pitching style, which is sharp. They're looking for painkillers and not vitamins. And I can go deeper, but it's really important to reflect when someone is pitching there, even if you talk to someone, to make it very, very, very clear that you are solving a very deep problem. And without your solution, this is not going to happen. The problem will remain there. The pain never going to go. No one wants vitamins. I think this is a global, maybe globally important. Now, here, another time to reflect. How, let's say, are they product centric, the pitches there, or the plans and let's say, the framing or customer-centric? It's, of course, customer-centric. And here, of course, anyone would say it's the customer that I'm addressing. But you will see that sometimes we tend to put forward what is our product, right? What is they doing? What are the features? So this will become later, or I would say even in the second meeting sometimes. Yeah, you need really to focus on the customer problem. What is what they want? What is that is happening? What is the problem? And the product comes after. Now, just to put a smile on your face, because I will talk a lot, even the couches are different, even if they IKEA, and now have also, I'm happy to have also my colleague Puisan Tam, who is the deputy hub manager there. She is the one behind this slide and can explain it better. But even the couches of the IKEA that have the same code or the same time are different. But okay, now the couch is maybe not important, but you can rethink about materials, about the other infrastructure that you might need to integrate your solution, how different it is, and how you really need to rethink what is happening in my technology in that market. Here, I would say it's investors in the slides. It's mind the investors, but I would say mind the customers / the investor. After this presentation, I will also add it there. In US, most probably the person that will talk, especially the Valley, is an ex-founder. And that has a fundamental difference, makes a fundamental difference when you talk to a consultant or a banker or I don't know, a project manager. The ex-founders know very well what you do. They empathize you and your problems, which is good, but they can go also very, very deep. I will connect this with a slide that is coming later. And this is the slide. Now, I will give you a moment. Can you guess where is the Silicon Valley? What is, if it is a coconut or an avocado? I will give you immediately the answer. Silicon Valley is the avocado. Soft to penetrate, but very hard at the core. So I think it's, someone told me this, but at some point in, well, I think I also can reinforce it even more. In the Valley, in the US to a large extent, you can meet almost everyone. And they will be super open to talk to you the first time. The second will be challenging. So this is something to reflect and to know. So yes, they will be very open, eager to talk the most of the time, but you need to be also solid and concrete so you can achieve the penetration at the core. Now, where's I mean, of the coconut, it's very hard to penetrate, and sometimes you see that it's for no good reason. Mind the speed. So, and I will also share with you a personal experience, a very recent one. In the Valley, the speed, it's a sign of professionalism. You know, quickly act, offering things, say all the things that you want to do. I think in some ecosystems, even in Europe, not in all necessarily, this might be perceived as recklessness. I have a personal experience. I did this mistake. It's not that I'm fully immersed in the Silicon Valley ecosystem, but sometimes, I'm a hybrid. So I very recently fall to this trap. I was coming on the other to reflect, to see. I was really trying to speed things. I think had the bad result on me. But be aware, when you go there, you need to be really up to speed. The things will happen quickly. You say, the people will tell you, I want to do this. Yes, I want your solution. And they will expect you to deliver in no time. Very recently, I was discussing with one company, it's an our portfolio company. And I'm not going to mention their name, but they were telling exactly this. Now here, if you really want to go deeper, if one of you wants to really start understanding in more detail what these cultural differences mean, you can go and check relevant information online. I think this is coming from the source. If you're interested, I will share with you, or when we share the presentation with you, I will add it. Apologies. Where you can see the culture, I think it's the cultural factor, the website. You can see how the different mindset, the culture differs from country to country. And now let's go many steps back and why this is important. And we said Silicon Valley, it's an ecosystem, it's strong. It's not just a capital raise, it's a global ecosystem. All the companies have also a strong sales department there. It's the place that it interconnects you with almost every ecosystem. Sometimes you will be surprised, better even with your own ecosystem. But it's not just the Silicon Valley. This presentation is not aiming to say that to super focus on this. It's more about understanding the global mindset. And in order to achieve this, you need to have an intercultural mindset to open yourselves to the other cultures, to understand them and to adopt. In order to achieve what is captured on these slides, a global focused startups. And why? It's proven, but I think it's kind of obvious. I mean, everyone would agree and would be easily deduced that when you have a global focused startup, you will have more foreign customers, so more revenues. So go back and rethink also about your model and how you really take this into the core of what you do and who you are professionally, of course. Uh, and how you can do that. But following this cycle introduced by Simon, I forgot his name now. But it's the golden cycle if you want to refer it. Confusing him with someone else, so I'm not going to attempt to say his surname. But we need to start with the why we do this, what we do, how and what. And this, I think I also have a slide later that will help us. It's something that should be captured in your pitches, in your pitch decks. Before we go there, I want to take a moment to convey this important message that summarizes the things that I said so far. Technology travels, and we see this a lot nowadays, right, with AI, at the speed of light, but trust travels at the speed of culture. It takes time to build the trust and really need to have this specific mindset in order to do that. And the cultural fluency is a competitive advantage. It's not a soft skill. Okay. And this is the slide that I was teasing you a lot. And I think it's the one that is more answers better the webinar today. What are the key elements of the pitch in the Valley? Remember, and I will try to tell you an example that is not that's not proper for the Silicon Valley pitching. It's like starting, I am Orestes, I have this company and I have this product that does this and that because this solves a problem or if it is there. This doesn't work then. So we need to start with the problem. What is the pain, eh? We need the pain. What is the real problem that you're trying to solve? Yes, you can also have a slide about the general environment, but we really need to understand the pain. Then what is the solution of this problem? Be careful, I say the solution, because the product comes after, if you say. And why now? Why now? Okay, yes, I may have a great solution to a problem that is not relevant in the market anymore. So But the why now, as you see, just also a little bit to help your understanding, it's a slide important for the investor's deck. It's not so much important for the sales deck, obviously. So I'm sorry if it's a bit confusing. I will take a lot of time in this slide. So take your time to look at it and understand also. I'll try to decode it for you to help. And this is the hook. You need to capture my interest, right? You know this. I'm not gonna be the first person who will tell you this. That either they are salespeople. Sorry. Either you talk to a procurement person, either you talk to a sales department, or to an investor. They have listened to many pitches. So, and it's always appreciated if the company makes clear to me what are we gonna discuss. What is the problem? What is the solution? I understand why we discuss this now. Very clear. Now, then is the products. What do you do? There is a time for this. And a slide that sometimes I see is there, sometimes is not, sometimes maybe there is no time. But it's extremely important, the team, especially if you are early stage. What is the team? And because I'm also coming from a pitch event for some defense companies, I observed something. It was someone said, and look, there was this slide was missing some of them. But there was one slide saying it was my team is interdisciplinary, excellent. And it's, of course, something very, very well appreciated. And I want you to connect with the other things. I would also appreciate if what the team was also, it was intercultural. So the team and who is there, it's important. It says many things about the company. Remember, we're looking for trust. And then the business model. And this is the promise. What you promise. And in order to complete the picture, in order to show that the trust is there, we need to have the traction, the results, the financials, give me the the proof of what you have done, and the competition. And I will maybe I'm a bit influenced from my personal experience when I'm talking to companies, but please take it as such and reflect. It's an important slide, especially when we talk about the investor, but I think for both cases. It's very easy these days someone to know your competition. And I might know already your competition, and I'm not going to discuss this with you. Why? I should discuss this with you if you are better. It's something that you need to address, and you need to explain to the others why you are better from the competition. Don't be afraid. Don't neglect the importance of addressing this fact. And you're not advertise them at all. If I'm a procurement engineer, I will probably know, or after the meeting, I will Google, or I will put it in a chatbot, and magically I will have. So it's important. And the call to action, and then a call to action that should change case by case. And I mean, who is your audience should influence what are you calling it, even if it is a pilot, even if it is a funding, even if it is introduction to other people. But the call to action, I would advise you to be a slide that you can adjust and you can rework every time you talk to someone. Now, and I kind of already told you about this, mind the audience. So tell a story that make it personal. It's good. I must admit, it's not the only way. You can be more creative there, but it's a good it's a good advice or the challenge, as we said. But I, I want to build the trust, so it's something good. Uh, don't forget that one pitch can last months, and I'm focusing because this is extremely in our focus on sales, on markets. You will pitch again and again, and don't bombard necessarily with a lot of information. I want to understand the basic things that will lead to another meeting, and then you can tell me more details. Don't forget that your audience is biased, not just you. We're all biased, unavoidably. Play when you do your study well with this bias, and to play I'm saying this in a very good and a gentle and polite way, and not please don't take it wrong. embrace it, and the lesson 5 is there because I don't want you to think that your success is relying only in the way you pitch. The substance is necessary. You cannot do it without it. Okay, and here I want to take, we have some questions for you. I mean, if you have a buyer persona, if anyone has already worked in the US. So before I go to them, I will stop the presentation. I'd like to see if we have any questions. If anyone wants to say something, it's better if we have a live discussion rather than me talking for another 20 minutes or more. Is there any question at this point? Or we can share more real case examples for you.
If you don't want to speak up, you could leave your message in the chat section on the right-hand side. But I see that we have somebody who raised her hand or his hand. You can speak up if you want.
Yes, it's me. Hello. Thank you very much for the presentation. My question is about who should do the pitch in the team. Who is best placed to do the pitch? Thank you.
I mean, yes, I think like there is no one right answer to this. Okay, I will try to answer this in the best way. Depending on the stage of the company, I mean, and to whom you are talking to. I mean, if you're talking to investors, I think there's a need for a very high level person from the startup to do that. If you go for sales, it would be also completely understandable if a person, again, with high level but with technical capacity, could lead this pitching, as the sales deck will also have a different purpose. And in some cases, startups have a very dedicated roles for this. I mean, they have a growth sales officers or chief sales officers or chief growth officers. But you see that they're the most cases, the one that they lead the discussions. What is important though, based on my experience, and mostly based on my experience as a procurement engineer in the past, is that you need to have a person that understands really also the technical side of the solution well, not just someone that will be very communicative and will deliver the message in a beautiful way and using beautiful English or any other language that should be used for that occasion.
Okay.
Because the people will challenge, and especially these days.
No, I just wanted to, sorry to interrupt.
Please.
Does it have to be at a C-level, someone to show the ownership? Or as you mentioned, the growth, person dedicated to growth could be an idea.
I mean, occasion by occasion depends. I mean, if you will going to discuss with a partner or a VC, I would highly advise you as I don't know, the CEO to be there. If it is the first meeting with a VC, I think would be someone else. And the same thing will happen also with the sales. I mean, if this is the first interaction, could be something. But if you see that it goes deeper, I would highly advise the high level engagement of someone to close the deal. Any other question? Please help us make it more relevant and more tailored to you. I mean, we don't want to. I guess it's also late.
Yes. Hi, Orestes. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, I do.
Okay, super. Hi. Very interesting presentation. I have a little bit more specific question because I do have some collaborations on the US market, mostly with academia and incubators for those like startups that are looking into actually EU market, as I'm working at the intersection of communication and EU funding. And what personally for me it was really, really challenging is the follow-ups. And not only the follow-ups, maybe let's take the step back, even the way that the interaction goes with the institutions. So, for example, when across Europe, I would say, there is this regular general tendency that we somehow, after the meeting, already know where the things are going, sort of which directions they could take. And if a company says they will follow up, or you say you will follow up, this will come. Maybe it will take some time, but it will happen. With the US, what I found is like what was challenging for me, and it would be interesting to hear your reply, is like, or at least your observation, like I find that it's very like the first reactions are super positive often. They pump you up, they build you up, and then like they die out. You send one email, then you send another email. I mean, I was once advised to send up to 16 follow-up emails, but I find it absolutely like incomprehensible. So after like, I don't know, a month or two of chasing somebody, I would just sort of say, well, they have me there, they will reach out to me. So if you can shed some light on how to deal with this, because yeah, it's just in across Europe, I feel like if we are not interested, we will politely say no, even in the face. Like it will be very properly packed, depending on the culture, but more or less we don't tend to really hide. Whereas in US, I found that this no, like at the expense of saying no, they will just prolongate these times. And yeah, so if you can share your any tip you have, that would be great. Thank you.
Let me try it, but on that, I'm lucky enough. I hope she can also. Later, I will ask also my colleague Puisan, I mean, to give also her views on this, because it's really interesting. Look, first of all, I would advise you to rethink about what we said before. Three that I think relevant. The why now. So yes, maybe this is good, but is this the important high priority for them to do it? Second, I mean, this is also your experience. I'm happy because it aligns with what we're saying. It's easy to have the first meeting or the full agenda, and you see how hard this is. Then I will also ask you to rethink a little bit the call to action you have. What are you asking them to do? Is this, and maybe you're asked, is it relevant to the person you talk? Maybe for this person, you need to ask him something else. Maybe you need to ask him to connect you with someone else and not to deliver. I don't know. And Antonia, I will tell you something. At the end of the day, move forward. I mean, maybe it's not the right client at all. The good thing with the value, the things that happen very fast, so that people know that, okay, you know what? Okay, I will see you in a year. I mean, because for them it's common. Okay, I would say, okay, we'll move forward. Maybe in 6 months we can discuss it. Maybe the time will be there, so you can also move and everything. I wouldn't personally advise you to send 16 follow-ups. I don't know. I mean, this is my personal experience. But Puisan, also, if you want to add also your personal view of this and how you see this, it will be helpful.
Yeah.
Puisan?
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Puisan Tam, and I'm originally from the Netherlands, so I'm Dutch and so European, but I'm also American. So I live many, many years now in the US. And this, what you're describing, it is very common, and I see it and I hear it as well. It's a cultural difference, right? The US and especially in Silicon Valley, everyone is sincerely want to help, and we're very friendly, and we really want to help. But the problem is we get a lot of requests, right? So if you don't do the follow up, nothing will happen. Okay. So even if they say like, oh yes, we love the, like exactly how you describe it, we'll reach out, they'll forget or they'll get distracted. So it's up to you, if you want something from them, to do the follow-up, and don't be shy about it. Because sometimes from European perspective, it's also a little bit like, oh, well, I already reached out, or, you have this a little bit like, not like a little bit shy about it. Don't be like that. You're not bothering them. You have to reach out. And specifically, do you have to do it 16 times? Maybe not, right? But but the important to know is that you need to take the action. And to Ares's point, you also have to be very clear, like clear in your ask, right? So yeah, that's what I like to add to this. But yeah, it's a very common problem, and or it's not a problem per se, but it's more like a cultural difference. So understanding the culture.
But yeah, and maybe I will add things, Pusan. I mean, don't see this as a disrespect necessarily. This is it, and it's not because of you. I mean, as Pusan said, it happens to everyone. Anyone else? So I guess I'm a really good speaker, and you cannot wait to hear me talking more. Something like that, I suspect. Okay, but don't hesitate. So I have some notes for us. I mean, the questions. I mean, I don't need to share the presentation now. Maybe I can take it as a discussion. So really important again when you land. It's not about US. In any country, I will say the following: rethink who is your competitor. And I mean, if you start globally and you have this global mindset since day one, as we were discussing before, this is most probably not going to be a problem. But realistically speaking, it's highly advisable if you ever going to do this step to really look closer the competitive landscape of your solution in US. And again, I say this and extend it also to other markets. This comes from experience. We have supported companies that, or we discussed with companies that we saw that, I mean, they missed this part. They didn't look deep. And that creates a lot of inconvenience. Because I need to say this, also say, there is no need for all companies to expand to US. I mean, to access the market there. Maybe it's not the best strategy for you. Maybe it's not the market for you, which is super okay. And that still doesn't change the fact that your company has great potential and you do a great job, but maybe it's not. Because a part of the competitors, as we remember, I'm connecting this with the couches, maybe the solution is not applicable sometimes even because of different reasons. Uh, I will use a very simple example. I mean, a RegTech, for example, clearly what we do in EU doesn't apply to US, but we also have seen some solutions on the health sector for the same reasons not being applicable. So rethink and take time to see who is the competitor if your solution has a good fit. And I will show you the slides before again in a short. I wanted to because you might be also interested in the future to join a program. I wanted to give you our experience and how we see things, uh, and how you should also select the right program for you. And it's important, and what is also the foundation of our program and what we built, to have a preparation in advance before you go there to really take time. Landing there and learning while you are there, it's not advisable. Don't get me wrong. There are great examples of every approach, and case by case, it changes. So unfortunately, when we generalize, we miss these exceptions and we miss some points. But I hope you're getting the general feeling. You need to prepare. You need to take the time to understand what is your buyer persona and all the things that I said before. And I will even advise you to take time to pre-book meetings, to do the things online, and then go there. Work, in other words, in your minimum viable landing. And that you can do together with different actors, different incubators and accelerators, different partners, different advisors, the plethora of solutions providers. But in order them to help you, you need to also to come with the right mindset. And again, we have the privilege and the honor, I mean, to be selected by companies like you to support them in US. I understand that you all have the eagerness to see the results immediately, but magic will come with the right preparation, and don't miss these parts. I feel you. I understand. I have startup experience myself. I would say I was lucky or unlucky to fail very fast. So I'm saying this with great respect to your priorities and your business model, but all markets deserve this right preparation. With that in mind, I will go through very quickly some of the slides that are there, just to see the complete picture. It's all the things that are already presented to you. You're not gonna be surprised. It's the
What is this? Sorry
the-
to interrupt you, but I see someone raising hand.
but perfect. No thing, because I don't see it while I'm talking. Thanks. Yes? Is anyone who wants to, or was a hand left from?
I think, yeah, Butcher left her hand up, but I think we can continue. Huh?
Okay. So this is the questions that I talked to you about. Who is your buyer persona? Take the time to think about this. The competition, key questions. Do they have the same problem in US? Maybe the best plan for you, and again, going back to what I said, is not going to US at all, and maybe you can save your time. So take this time. It's valuable. And again, I would say it will make you much more sharp in whatever you do after those things. And it's not that engage early, do the engagement already. Send messages to the LinkedIn. I should have a slide about this. Also, there it's in their culture very easy and something. Also, Antonia, I don't know if you're using LinkedIn, highly advisable if you want to continue the engagement. They're using it, they're appreciating a lot as a communication channel. And again, very quickly, some of the results that we have done, why you should access it now. It's the market is big, open, but selective. Mastering the US market, it's indeed based on their position. It's a strategic decision and will allow you to scale globally. It's not the only one, but it's an important step that you need to consider, and you need either, as I said, to have an approach that is not, but you need to have an answer to how, when, especially when to scale, how I address this market. What is your position? So, as we say, delaying raises costs. So if this is the moment, you should do it. Don't risk delaying if this is the moment. If you think that the market is right, and speed is a competitive advantage, as we covered a lot. Hands-on experience, also what we're trying to, this is general things, but also we're trying to provide founders to founder support. It's really important, and the program that you receive and support that you seek, look at this, work with introductions, programs design for and support design for European companies. It's not one fits all, really you need to see something nice. Here is the team. I'm going quickly. I don't want to make it an advertisement pitch deck. For us, details of the program that is based on the structure I mentioned to you, strong preparation, and then you land. This is it. I think the time is right, Thomas. If I'm, unless they have another question.
Yes,
Or I
I
think
think we can go for another round of questions if there's any. Now is the chance to ask questions. Okay, I don't think there's any questions anymore. So I would give the floor now to Christos Skouras from the European Commission's DG Grow for the closing words.
Thanks a lot, Thomas, and also thanks a lot to Maria from ISMEA, my two colleagues. Very, very important, I think, no, I will take it differently. First of all, also a big thanks to the quite engaging questions, the quite engaging questions we received from the audience. I have to admit that this is a very, very hands-on, very practical, very experience-based session. It went well beyond what we are maybe used to, because it's a very conceptualized experience collected through the years. Thank you very much, Orestis, for that. I think it's quite helpful, very helpful, I would say, especially when dealing with such demanding ecosystems like the avocado, Silicon Valley, as you said. I can definitely understand what you meant by that, and I'm sure all the colleagues from companies representing companies in this particular session. And yes, it's full of opportunities. At the same time, it's full of challenges. This is one of the key messages here, I think. Another important key message that I think stands out in our case is that internationalization and accessing different markets remains key and essential for us in the European approach. Of course, depending on the markets, and that particular market is quite demanding, quite different, I would say. It requires adaptability. You mentioned preparation, it's key. Of course, as you said, also there are often exceptions to this rule, but learning by doing, I don't think it's the right approach in this particular case. So preparation and good self-positioning on the side of the companies that really want to have a good outreach to this particular market. We heard about cultural differences. I really liked the example mentioned by the colleague and the repetitive, like kind reminders. I see, of course, that addressing the right person is key. Being clear in the messages that we want to address is also key. Insistence is also key, as Puisan mentioned. It's a case by case understand situation and how we will want to reach out and what we need to achieve. I would like also to mention closing, because I don't want to take more of the time. But from our side, from the European Commission side, we have this very recent discussion about the so-called 28th regime, and this is really, really important because it aims at creating, like reducing administrative burdens for companies and making it easier for them, especially if they are innovative, to grow while remaining open to global markets. And with this, I would like to finish here, because for me, as I represent European Commission in this session, I would say that this is the key message. And this is what exactly the Enterprise Europe Network is always trying to achieve and do, which is we need strong local foundations for companies that have a very nice and very ready global outlook, something like that. We need strong companies in Europe that can easily reach out globally and have good results. And this is what we do also, as I said, with the network. Closing here, I would like to mention that you need to stay tuned with the webinars we are preparing with my colleagues from ISMEA. I think, I don't know, Thomas, if it's the right time to already foresee the next webinar on Mercosur, start of May, but we will please stay tuned about that. Thank you for your participation, and the floor back to you, Thomas, for closing. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much to everyone. And we will announce an upcoming webinar on the EU Mercosur trade agreement shortly on the Enterprise Europe Network website. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for following, and see you soon. Bye-bye.